has happened today in the country, but let's begin by you telling us the impact of those concessions on the revenue targets, because initially the target was 302 billion shillings. Once you have considered on some of those measures, what happens?
Thank you very much, Sam. One of the things that we are trying to explain to Kenyans was we had, in the budget-making process, there is a proposals by National Treasury, which was brought before Parliament and put in the Departmental Committee of Finance and National Planning. So after those proposals come from the National Treasury, the next step is public participation, where we say this is what the National Treasury is supporting, is recommending on raising these measures to support these expenditures.
Right.
At the same time, and I really want Kenyans to understand this, at the same time the finance bill is tabled, so is the expenditure side, what we call the estimates. And I kept saying that we receive a lot of views from the public on what the finance bill should be,
right,
but that robust conversation is not as much on what the budget is. Because this money goes to supply side of government.
Right.
Around the same time was, for example, discussion about the division of revenue bill, where now, for the first time, the allocation to counties have exceeded the 400 billion shillings mark. So where in this exceeding the 400 billion shillings mark to now 400.1 billion shillings to counties across all the 47 counties of the country,
right,
where does that revenue go come from? And that's why you see now these aggressive tax reforms coming in, because at the same time we are saying we have borrowed too much, that we are at a point where even our credit ratings globally...
We'll get to the impact. Just give me that short answer of what happens to the revenue target of 302 billion.
So so there are two things that are happening. So first of all, courtesy of a court ruling that was made in 2019, that makes the finance bill has to be passed before the Appropriations Act. So we are saying that before you approve the expenditures, there must be proof of where those money to support those expenditures are coming from.
Right.
So as a result, once now we recommend the proposals on the bill, one of the options on the table is to reduce the appropriations bill, the estimates now.
Right.
Where we're saying, because even after tabling my report today,
right,
members of Parliament have already written to the Speaker seeking amendments on already the amended further bill.
So tell me,
so every amendment,
based on those proposals that were read out by yourself and other leaders at State House, what is the impact on the target of 302 billion?
One of the considerations we're doing is considering reducing expenditure. And therefore, depending also, and you should expect even further amendments, because as we speak...
So you don't have a figure yet?
So far, we have a balanced figure of around 302 billion shillings.
Yes.
And the two are derived from a 1 percentage point increase on railway development levy and 1 percentage increase on IDF. So on the impact of it, and it from the analysis so far, it will be enough to fill the resource gap, but at the same time amending the appropriations bill. So the Budget and Appropriations Committee, let me take you slowly.
I want to hear from Chairman, but please, make it simple. You are targeting, sorry, not you. The National Treasury was targeting to raise 302 billion shillings with the finance bill, as it were.
Yes.
Now you have arrived at some concessions.
Yes.
What is the impact of that on the 302 billion?
We have a revenue gap of around 60 billion shillings that we hope to reduce the expenditure side by a similar amount, so that we have a balanced...
So you still have, you might achieve 242 billion shillings.
Yes.
Chairman Mbadi, Chairman PSC that is, so what is your take upon the concessions that were actually read at State House?
First of all, let me congratulate the people of Kenya for piling pressure on Kenya Kwanza government and the Parliament, and which pressure has at least made the government to climb down and the Committee of Parliament to respond to Kenyans' needs. I want to just say the following. One, for this so-called 302 billion, it was not all coming from this new taxation or the new tax rates, because every year, even without amending the tax rates, there is economic growth. So that would result into higher than the previous year, even if without changing any tax rate, it would still increase. Revenue would still increase. These new tax measures that I've not done analysis to the details, but I quickly did some analysis, and I realized that from the proposal that came from State House, I want to call it from State House, not the committee, because the communication was from State House. The committee should have done better by owning this as their baby, but they didn't. It's about 76 billion. So apart from what he's telling you about...
So you're seeing a reduction by 76 billion?
Yes, that is my quick analysis. He's talking about 60 could be correct. But my quick analysis from what I saw the projected revenue under these lines, the VAT on bread, the motor vehicle tax, etc. But you see, Kenya Kwanza is behaving like pickpocket. You know, pickpocket would not put his 5 fingers in your pocket to pick your money. What they would do is to put 2 fingers. So what they are doing here, and what he's deliberately not mentioning, is they are proposing to increase fuel levy by 9 shillings. That is dangerous. And the people of Kenya must not accept this.
Okay.
The Parliament of Kenya must not accept this. Because you see, what you are doing, the moment you increase fuel levy by 9 shillings, you are increasing the price of petroleum products, and you are even increasing the price of electricity, the cost of electricity. You are increasing the cost of production. You are messing up the entire economy. We know how we are reliant on petroleum products as an economy. So don't give us with the right hand and take with the left hand. We are seeing you.
Okay.
And you see, Sam, allow me just to say, you know, he's my professional junior, and I really like him as a nice, intelligent young man. But sometimes he's very cheeky. I say so because in the last finance bill of 2023, he did something with this committee which was very funny. There was a proposal on housing levy at 3%. He comes and says it is reduced to 1.5%. But he made it worse. At least the 3% one was our money. We were being told, it will, if you don't get a house, it would be kept somewhere for you. You would access it after a period. It was even having a cap. Now it goes and changes it to 1.5, which at the face of it looks like it's a smaller percentage. And then we embraced it only to realize that now this is even hurting more. That is what he's trying to do with these ones.
Okay.
He's proposing these amendments, but increasing the fuel levy by 9 shillings. We'll
get to the details of that.
Yes.
2 chairpersons of 2 different committees of the National Assembly. But we're taking a short break here on The Explainer. We'll be back shortly with